All righty, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of J3U After Hours. Alex, welcome back to Fahrenheit and Miles, baby.
I know, right? And pounds, not kilograms.
Yeah, fuck a kilo.
Yeah, dude. Great, man. I flew, dude. Travel was wild.
Mhm.
They're like 6 hours ahead over there. So it's like 6 or 7. So like I flew out at like 10 p.m. Thursday and landed there at 10 a.m. Friday. So it was a big like throw you off type deal. Um, got on the plane, I was texting y'all, I was around like WWE royalty up front. Like fucking Kurt Angle was like back over here to me, and then fucking Jerry the King Lawler and like Samoa Joe and like I don't know, and it's funny because like I don't think they were all traveling together either. They were all like there was some big event, but like I guess going on over there.
Mhm.
Uh, but that was cool, man. The flight back was pretty rough because I flew out. I left for the airport at like 3:30 in the morning, which was like what 8 p.m. here. So like
Yeah,
I was flying back at 8 p.m. Sunday and landing at like 4 p.m. Monday. Uh,
yeah,
it kind of throws you off, but
a little bit. What
we made it.
was that was one of the questions we got. Your favorite and least favorite part of the UK?
Man, my favorite part was the teaching. Um, just like when I got because like so me and Luke like we comboed a lecture. So it was like a peak week lecture and I was teaching on like how to find like how to make the decisions on when like what's flat, what's full, like what are we looking for? And so walking people through like, hey, this is how you pick 3 reference points on a physique and like how to identify, you know, their strong suits to them. So like I use Neely and Abby as my examples. Um and like when I got done, and we kind of wrapped up that segment, the people were like, man, you got me so motivated to go like peak and just be that guy. Cause not only did I give them, I'll give you guys a little insight. So like when you're talking about, when we're giving peak week lectures and stuff like we do on the like they do on the J3U course, it's a lot of what John does. But a
Mhm.
lot of my approach is like, hey, I'm talking to coaches who don't coach John Jewett.
Mhm.
So this is the reality. And so I had the Beach Bash overall picture and I broke them down like, hey, look, these are my winners. And I gave every backstory on what was going on behind the scenes that no one knew about. And I was like, you're gonna have to deal with these issues. Someone locked their shoes in their car. This person,
Mhm.
a girl, was, trying to get her disqualified because she entered in the wrong division. Another kid entered in the wrong division. This person's getting sick. Like, and I painted that picture for them, and I was like, and then you have to make the right calls. And I was like,
Yeah,
so that's why these reference points are so crucial. And so just like game day, like tactics, that's not so much like drink this much fluid and whatever. And I got done, man, and they were so like appreciative and so like fired up. Um, and I gave them a little insight on like how we wear shirts and stuff like that, that the
fuck
tone.
yeah.
Man, and they got done, dude, and like that was the coolest part is seeing them like engaged in it and like asking questions and they really bought into it and were like, man, I can't wait to go do that. Like I loved hearing you speak um and as weird as it is, like they came up and were like asking for pictures. So like that was cool. I was
Yeah.
like usually I'm like, yeah, sure, like I'll hold the phone for you, but that
Mhm.
was like, oh, okay, like we're here. That was dope. And then training with Cal and Ross. It's like me, Cal, Ross, and Luke. We did a push session together on like 4 hours of sleep. And dude, probably one of the best push sessions I've had in a long time.
Fuck yeah.
Because like at that, like you're in, right? Like
Nothing to lose.
yeah, like and that was one of the moments, man. It's like, dude, I've every decision I've made in my life got me to this moment. I'm not about to fucking be a bitch on this push day around some like killer coaches. We're all about to teach tomorrow. Like it
Yeah.
was, it was cool, man.
Fuck yeah,
Um,
dude.
the least favorite thing, um, just the time, but the time was pretty rough. I'll be honest, bro, it was super easy. Like there's pre-cooked chicken breasts in grocery stores.
Hmm.
It was easy to diet and travel and do all that.
Hmm.
I'd say the time change, and there's not a lot of AC units, and there's like heaters, but there's no like air conditioning. So that's a little. Luckily, it was wintertime.
Hmm.
Um, and then you have to have a special charger, like outlet for the wall. That
Gotcha.
threw me off. Yeah.
Okay.
But Capital One, your Capital One card works great. There's no,
Shout
yeah.
out.
Shout out
Yeah.
Capital One. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, because I had some messages being like, dude, where are you? Why aren't you here? Um, I even paid an exorbitant amount of money to have my passport expedited, and it was promised to be here 2 weeks ahead of time, for which then I was going to book my plane ticket because obviously you have to have that. It is getting here tomorrow. So shout out to U.S. Postal Service and everybody involved in that. Um, yeah, so I didn't get to go, unfortunately, which was definitely a bummer. But now I'll have my passport for the next one. So just fucking
Like 10 years, you'll be good.
yeah, yeah, dude, we're covered. But yeah, dude, it looked dope, man. Like obviously that whole crew is like what we're supposed to be with and what we're supposed to be doing, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously I very much have FOMO from I was stuck here. I got sick and then felt good for 2 days, went to train. It was sunny, dumbbell rode the 200s for the first time in my life, and then got sick again. So
Hell
don't don't do as I do, do as
yeah.
I say.
Yeah. And luckily, like, thank God, like getting there and getting sick would have been horrible. Um, yeah, because it's definitely not America over there.
Mm-mm.
Here, there's no Splenda, so uh, I didn't look for medicine, but I don't know if that would be the easiest thing.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I mean gear's legal, so that's
Yeah.
it's a plus.
You know what? You know what I found is like a weird comfort is like when you look around and you like there was like a random Popeyes like on the corner or like a random McDonald's. It's like, okay, I'm not too far from home.
Yeah, that's home based,
Yeah,
dude. Like,
we're all right here, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. We ain't too far gone, you know. Um, dude, we got a lot to dive into. I'm trying to decide where we should start. I guess we'll start from the top. Thank you to everybody who asked questions. We've gotten a lot of new listeners, so we wanted to do this one more as like a get to know us type of deal. So a little bit less. We still have some bodybuilding questions, but just a little bit more about us, kind of like what we're about. So, if you could do any sport in the Olympics, what would it be?
Uh, Wrestling or judo?
Yeah, that adds up. I would be a thrower for sure, or curling because I think curling is so fun.
Yeah. Let me ask you, here's a question. If you could rather have an Olympic gold medal or an Olympia, what would you take?
Fuck, it's tough.
It's very tough.
That's really tough from like a financial perspective. Olympia, because most of the Olympians, like Olympic athletes, are work other jobs. I don't
Yeah.
think people realize that. Like one of the guys I saw in an interview, he like I forget what he holds the world record for, but he's like a window cleaner.
Hmm.
I think it's also to let me use this as a teaching moment. That also goes to show you can work a full time job and be a successful athlete. You don't have to try to like quit your job to do this.
Yeah.
Um, dude, I almost want to say Olympic gold medal because to me that's still like that is the pinnacle of athleticism.
Do too, man. Because I thought that was very tough. Now, if I could have like a reign of Olympians, it'd be different. But like one Olympia or one Olympic gold medal, I mean, did you anything like swimming, track? Like, dude, if I could say I was an Olympic gold medalist in like wrestling or judo,
Yep.
like that's
I would
it.
I would say Olympic wrestling is the most challenging and physically demanding sport on this planet.
Yeah.
Um, well, the other thought is too, we look at every, I mean, there are exclusions to this, but very rarely. We look at every Olympian since day one, and there's always a naysayer to the physique, right? Because it's still subjective. The Olympics is objectively you are the best in the world that year or that time around. Like there's no denial. You run the fastest, you throw the farthest, you do whatever. Like there's no, yeah, but what if? It's like you were just undeniably, undisputedly the best.
Yeah, that's something. And even like the whole, like if you make podium at the Olympics, like you're like a bronze medalist, like
Mhm.
that's still such a flex.
You're like third
Yeah,
in the world.
yeah, like no, it's not a win, but like yeah, I got bronze, in track. Like that's fucking or silver medalist. Like that's incredible.
Yeah, because it holds a different prestige than like the person who gets second or third at the Olympia. They're like,
Yeah,
it doesn't, again, and it also, because our world is so niche, and I think we forget that, dude. If you run into someone at the grocery store and they're like, "What do you do?" You're like, "Oh, I'm an Olympic athlete." They're gonna shit their pants. Or you're like, "I've won a gold at whatever Olympics." Shit everywhere, right? If we say we're an Olympian bodybuilder, they're like, "So you take steroids?" Or
yeah, like
like, that's
that's not healthy. Yeah.
yeah, like that's it. Yeah, I would definitely choose the Olympic gold. We got asked. It was just make it about your dogs.
What do you want to know about?
You go first. I don't have. Let me see if I can get Gru to come in.
I'm not bringing Kuma's ass in here. I've got so Kuma's and he's an Akita. Um, Akitas are like they're Japanese dogs. Um, but yeah, he's a big old bear. He is about 100, 105 pounds. Um, just big old baby. He's supposed to be like a protection dog. He's very well trained, but yeah, he's with people, he just falls on his back.
Kuma's the best. When Kuma chose me, it meant a lot. Um, this is Gru. Come here, buddy. Come here. We're a little stubborn sometimes. So this is Gruby.
Hmm.
We don't know how old he is. I got him when I ran a dog rescue in a kennel. He's like lab and some pit and very rotund and a little bit sassy. He likes to sleep under blankets. That's like his non-negotiable. He won't do anything else other than that. Um, and he will, every time he meets a new person, he tries to act like he's never been fed before. He's never been loved before. He assumes that he's heavily neglected. So he's my best buddy.
He puts on the best sad face too. Like when you have food,
Look at
he's
him.
out. Yeah.
Dude,
It's
look at him. He's already sad.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
It's like, oh, I haven't been fed in months.
he's never eaten before, as like his stomach hangs over his knees when he sits. I enable it though, dude. I've made him a spoiled brat for sure. So yeah, he's the best. As he stares at me uncomfortably. All time favorite shoe.
Do you have them? Let me find one.
I'm gonna have to look for a minute. You go first because I'm still.
The Kobe nines.
Ooh, ooh,
I
ooh.
love these. Yeah, these are the ones.
Those are beautiful. I only have one pair of nines.
Nines might be my favorite.
Dude, they are so comfortable. They're so easy to put on.
Yeah.
They're perfect. Like they're incredibly durable. Like those are like my rainy day shoes. I usually wear my nines because I've only got these are the nines that I have. Um,
Ooh, those are
yeah,
clean.
I've worn them a handful of times. Can I do like favorite by model? Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
okay? Favorite pair of ones. Well, I'm gonna do these first. Favorite pair of dunks is the Stranger Things dunks that
Those are
came out like last year. I've literally worn them once for the season finale that was in theaters. I'm choosing ones. I think the Mocha ones, because this was like the pair of shoes like 15 years ago where I was like, Jordans are dope, but I never thought I could pull them off. And then I impulsively bought them in my 2022 show prep. Um,
that's like your color scheme too.
dude, it's this one, or actually, no, let me show you a better one. So this pair, I beat the fucking hell out of these
Yeah, yeah.
because they've got like the Merlot, they've got the mochas, the hunter green ones. Like they're pretty interesting. I've beat the life out of those. Twos, I don't have any twos up here. My favorite pair of threes, I'm going with these, obviously because I love blue. AJ took a double overall in these, so they're very sentimental. Fours, I'm going the. I think I'm gonna go these for sure. The undefeated fours, they're pretty sick. I still haven't worn them. Fives, metallic fives,
Like
worn those once. And then 11s, going those.
those are Concords.
No, do not have the Concords yet. These, God, what are these called? Oh, these are the gratitude ones. They came out like 2 years ago, and then um, honorable mention are the Kobe. Because, bro, dude, the details on these are ridiculous. I don't know if you can see the sole. Remember when he came out of the hospital and he went to play basketball? This is the wrong one. Hold up. You can see it in there.
Oh, those are sick.
So I think those anything Kobe, obviously, I'm obsessed with.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I've got a lot of fucking shoes, so I can't just pick one.
those are dope.
Yeah. So I haven't bought any recently, thank God. I need to like chill out, but I think those are my favorites of like each model. Um, but for those who obviously don't know, like I keep shoes on dead stock, so I don't wear them until like I have an athlete competing in a show or we have like a team event or something, so that I can like look back and know like when I wore these shoes, right? Like I want to have a little bit of like sentimental value to me versus just like impulsively buying shit. And mostly it's buying purple shoes for show weekends. That's what I have like a large excess of for this year. Um, let's see. How did your passion to coach evolve over time?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Um, how did it evolve? I mean, I think in terms of being passionate about coaching, I think like, for me, it's always stayed the same. I've always been passionate about it.
Mhm.
I think that's how like you've been able to like I've been able to coach for so like
Mhm.
and I've been able to coach for so long at a high level, and I've never sold out to any like scheme, gimmicky, salesy, like whatever thing. Um, but then once a lot of like the athletes who stay with me for a long time start to develop and get better, like everyone I have now that's a pro except for two, like I turned them pro. So, watching that develop, watching people go from like a novice to winning overall and all that, like, um, it becomes more personal. Um, so yeah, I think that's how the passion, like, just I think it's how the passion, like, the passion's always been lit, but that's how it stays lit because you have those athletes who stay with you, and then you have like newer athletes who are also as passionate about the sport as you are. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, just never selling out to any of the other bullshit scams that are out there, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And I think we've talked about it before, but I think if this was like a game of finances for either of us, we would probably both have like triple the amount of clients that we do. Um, but I know for us both, that's not been why we've done it for so long. Like, dude, I know when we first started working together, I think we both had like 30 clients each. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, and we were doing shit like insanely old school because it was just more of like love for the game. Like, I wasn't fixated on systems and spreadsheets and this, that, and the third and scholarships and bullshit. It was just like I wanted to help people. I think the passion has always been the same. That's just how I operate as a human. Like I emotionally have to, I'm either all in or all out with everything I do in life. That's how I've always been. sometimes to a fault. And the why is what's changed, or like it's just the why is there's been a new layer of why that's been added over time. You know, when I first started doing this, it was because I didn't want people to make the same mistakes that I did in their weight loss journeys or whatever it was, right? I was just doing predominantly like lifestyle coaching at the time. And that was like the first why is I just wanted people to do this better than I did. And then it became as I got into competing, the why became after having bad experiences with other coaches of not wanting people to have the same experiences that I did as an athlete. And that still remained true. And then now it's, we obviously hear constantly of these other athletes that we have that we come to us have had the similar experiences, and that adds to it. And it just continues to add, right? Like it never really amplifies necessarily. There's just like more emotional investment that comes from this, and having the buy-in to your point of those athletes who stay with you for year after year and getting to watch them grow and like developing a bond with them that's a lot deeper than just like, hey, we're checking in and I'm answering your questions. Like, dude, like I've gotten to watch through my athletes, I've gotten to watch 3 marriages occur, right? Like I've watched babies get born, I've watched people graduate at school. I got to write a letter of recommendation for one of my athletes recently, and like that meant the world to me. Like there's so much more that like encompasses this, that it isn't just like the bullshit, right? I think that's why we both like, dude, I'll sit on my fucking soapbox. I don't care. I will die on this hill of opinionation that I choose to, because morally I think it's fucked. And that's why I speak up against it so often, is because this is a lot deeper. I'm just fortunate I get to do this for a living now, right? Which adds another layer to it, right? Like this is how I keep this roof over my head. But it's also again the reality of like people putting faith in me. I need to prove them right. I need to prove myself right. And also the other aspect, which we'll get into this, it's one of our last questions, but like I also can't suck at stuff. Like I can't be bad at things. I don't do well with that idea, right? And that's just why I've been able to pour everything into this, because there's so much to learn. Because like being good at stuff is kind of dope, right? Like makes sense, but it's when it's me being great at this, me getting to positively impact a human being and watch them succeed, and return us succeed. Like how can you not be obsessed with this shit,
Yeah. Yeah, you make a great point. Like obviously, you have like we'll say when you have large rosters, right? Like, it's you have athletes who it is just transactional. It's just
Mm-hmm.
business, whatever. But on the flip side, like you do have athletes like, dude, we talked about athletes sending us Christmas cards,
Mm-hmm.
wedding announcements, invitations to weddings. They're excited to tell me that they're having a baby. Like,
Mm-hmm.
going with athletes through fertility protocols. Like
Mm-hmm.
there is a level to it that like it's so much more personal with us and with our clients that it keeps you the passion just is there. But it's because like it's it's genuine, I get like it's not forced, it just develops and builds over time. And that's why those like relationships stand out and they mean something, and I'm like you, like I don't budge a lot on my coaching style or my coaching principles for no other reason than like I know where I was before this, and I'm not afraid to go back to do it before I start coaching another way. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather just no longer coach than and go back to like, I can go work private security, I can go work, be a dietitian. Like I could do that. But like and I would before I sacrificed who I was as a coach or before I start bending. And I think that's where a lot of coaches go wrong is they're so focused on like just making money and
Mm-hmm.
being a quote coach that they don't know how to function if they couldn't do that. And so like that's how we stay in it because like we don't well yes we need to make money and we need to like have a job, like it's not why we do it. And I never thought I could do it full time. So
No, and dude, like again, like I coached for free for years because I didn't know you could charge money for it. I just did it because I thought it was cool. And like, bro, when we started together, I think you charged like $100 or like 150.
not much, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't much, right? And like that's the point is I tell everybody, and I think it's the way that you should go about this. If this is what you want to do, coach for free and see if it provides fulfillment for you.
Yeah.
Not what you see in your fucking checking account or whatever. The other thing I'll say too is if you have zero clients, you are not your service is not worth anything yet monetarily because you have nothing to and that's fine. I started there, Alex started there, we've all started there, and it's taken a long time to get here, but now we're here where I can tell you what I'm worth, and my athletes can tell you what I'm worth, and J3U can tell you what I'm worth, and whatever else. But do that for a while and decide if when you have a very high maintenance client who demands the world of you and you're getting $0 in return, but they still won't follow your diet, if that's worth fighting through for 6 months. Because that typecast will never leave, whether you charge them $0 or $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Because again, it's about the human interaction. That's what this is about, is human beings, right? And so that's where you'll figure out really quickly if you want to do this. And you don't have to. Like, there are plenty of other ways to make. If this is about money, there are way more jobs out there that are far more lucrative with way less stress.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like too how passion grows is like as we get better as coaches and like the quality of athletes improves and the wins come and all that, it almost becomes like something you chase to you have to keep up with the standard that you set. And that's difficult. So like
Yeah.
you have to like there's gonna be plenty of highs and plenty of wins and there's gonna be times where there's not. But like if you love what you're doing, you're gonna make it through to the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point. Um, because unfortunately or fortunately, depending on where you look at it, we're only relevant if we're doing what we're doing. At the end, you're only as good as your last win. And if you start backslipping very quick, this is because of the escape of social media. This is all about momentum, bro. Think about like Matt Jansen, his come up. Think about Boss of Outlaw, his come up. Dude, to what 3 years ago we thought Stefan was God himself,
Mhm.
and then it kind of has slipped back. And now, like now, Neil Hill is back in the spotlight as if he hasn't been around for fucking 3 decades, kicking ass, right? Like this is where like we live in a very interesting space where like I had like a almost a 90% win rate last year and numerous overalls. Like that's the bar of expectation. If I don't meet that or exceed it, then what's it worth, right?
Yeah.
Um, but again, I can't. I've done other jobs. I've worked countless other careers, and like this is what I will always go back to because it's my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, man, dude, there's gonna be plenty of fits. I mean, hell, dude, I had a guy leave me this week because like I don't he saw another team doing like team stuff and team lifts and all that. And while we are doing one next month, like that's not I don't do that. I don't coach that. Like we do what probably one a quarter, maybe I do maybe one a quarter. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like if that's what I have to do to get you to work with me, you're not going to like working with me because I
Yeah.
don't do that. And so I was very respectful. Hey, man, yeah, that coach is great. He kills it. Hope y'all do well. I hope you have fun and enjoy that. But
Mm-hmm.
like, that's not what I'm about over here. Because at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, that doesn't make you win.
No, no, it does not.
I don't
It's
I don't hold your hand and kumbaya together and like have a fucking Christmas party. Like I'm here to
mm-hmm.
make you a better athlete and win.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can we have moments out the year where we meet up and train and have good sessions? Absolutely. But if that's your reason for wanting to coach, I want someone that comes to me and wants to win.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. I think that sometimes where people lose sight of our roles and our purposes. And I tell every athlete when I do my first call with them, I'm not going to message you on a Tuesday to go kick ass. I'm not going to send you a motivational quote every week or whatever. That's not what I'm here for. That's not my job. I want athletes who are internally driven. I have surpassed the chapter of my career where I have to hold hands and drag. That's not what I'm here for. And if that's what you need, I can go find you the coach that'll do that. The same with compliments. If you're here just to get your ego stroked, I can send you to the dipshit down the street who will enable that so he can cash a check.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy, right? Like you earn it when you earn it because that's what made me a better athlete too.
Yeah.
Um, so I think some people just lose sight of why. And I think that's why a lot of people need to sit down and think before you hire a coach of like what do you need from this and who facilitates that appropriately? Because then the same vein, it's not anybody's fault necessarily, but if you can't figure out your why and you go to a coach, you also aren't entitled to blame them if they didn't fit the why that you're not aware of.
Yeah, you have to know why you're doing this. Like I had a kid, he recently had to step away too, just more for finances, but we had spoken 2 days earlier and was like, oh, like it's just a lot of eating and a lot of cooking. And I was like, yeah, man, it's bodybuilding. Get used to it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't like that, you don't like this. Like, you might like to work out, but you don't like bodybuilding. If you don't like to eat and cook, like you haven't even done the show yet, you already don't like this. Probably should go find another sport, man. There's a lot
It's
going on, and like there's plenty out there. But it's not my job to make you like cooking and like eating. Like,
no,
it's not. That's not my job.
no, dude, because again, you come to me with goal, I tell you what it takes to achieve goal,
Yeah, like
and that's what you have to do. Like I've done this countless times. I know what it's going to take. Unfortunately, if you'd want it to be unfortunate for you, you're going to have to eat and you're going to have to do cardio and you're going to have to train and you're going to have to make sacrifices. If you could do all of this without those things, we would all be bodybuilders.
yeah.
We'd all be jacked.
It's crazy. But yeah, in summary, how we keep the passion going is we love this sport. We love this industry, and we don't let anything on the outside take us off track of our love for it. Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's a negative client, whether it's a person that leaves, whether it's a remark on Instagram, whether it's, random gimmick like 5 clients, spiels, lead generators, whatever the case may be. We don't let that outside stuff derail us from where we're going as coaches.
Mm-hmm. Favorite superhero?
Wolverine,
Punisher.
for sure.
I like superheroes that are less mortal or more mortal than not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems more badass. Bodybuilding Mount Rushmore.
How many people are on Mount Rushmore? Four.
Let me give me one sec. Hey, Chris, can you look that up real fast? I wanted to feel like Joe Rogan for a second. Um, four. It is,
Four.
in fact. I knew that. I knew that.
Are we talking about physiques or for the bodybuilding industry?
Let's do let's do physiques.
93 Flex Wheeler at the Arnold Classic,
Oh yeah.
2021 Jay Cutler,
Mm-hmm.
or no, 20, 2001 Jay Cutler
Mm-hmm.
at the Arnold Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Somewhere 2013, 2014 Phil Heath.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go 99. I think it's 99 or 98 Ronnie Coleman.
Nine. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I can't dispute any of those. I think that's damn near perfect.
Not like I
Uh,
forgot about this question or anything.
yeah, yeah. It's like it's how I go to sleep every night, just pondering. Um,
Looking at dudes.
dude,
So all my timeline is dudes posing and jujitsu grappling.
mine's like dudes posing and food mostly. Um, Honorable mentions. Let's say we get two honorable mentions. I'm throwing in a Kai Green.
When
Oh
he
God,
when he ran the gauntlet at all the Arnolds, was it
yes,
2015? Yeah.
yeah, 2015 Kai, and then like I'm trying to think of what year. It was right before Dorian found insulin,
A 95.
95, like 94, 95 Yates.
What about '07 Victor Martinez?
Oh shit, dude. I kind of
It's
okay.
really-
Also, '07 Dennis Wolf, I think.
Yeah, Wolf and Martinez have got to be honorable mentions.
Yeah, do we just need like a second Mount Rushmore attached at this point? Because I think Dennis Wolf, I think Dennis Wolf would have been. I think Dennis Wolf nowadays would be winning shows
Yeah.
relatively easily. I think Phil Heath was just that much better than everybody.
Yeah, and I think everyone was so focused on the Phil and Kai that like Dennis Wolf being in third. I mean, dude, there's some shots where I look at him winning in today's standard, like
Hmm.
huge.
Yeah. But same with Victor too, man. I think Victor got overlooked heavily in
That's
that
what
era.
Victor got.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What memories or thoughts do you use before sets? I don't feel comfortable sharing mine.
Yeah, it's way too fucked up.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really not good.
I'll be, yeah, it's like top sets, like dark sets. It's yeah. Chris doesn't even know what I think about. Like it's
I
yeah,
don't tell Alex what I think about. My therapist Todd told me that it is creating a trauma response, and I need to not do that anymore. So
yeah, yeah. Apparently, apparently, if you go and you constantly look forward to thinking about that one or multiple things, apparently that's not good. So
so I don't advise that. It's just how I've always operated in the gym. Yeah, so that's why I get rather vulgar after certain top sets. I don't go to that place as often as I used to because I would go there. Alex has seen it. I would go there, do a set that would just alter my brain chemistry, and then I would be spent for the remainder of the day.
yeah, yeah. When it's like a true, like not just it's a top set chest. When it's like that, like fucking barking, growling, like huffing and puffing, like slapping your elbow sleeve set.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually a rotation of multiple things that probably just hurt us, like
Mm-hmm.
just that have just really hurt us over the years. And in my opinion is though, you use it and you take something that was really fucked up and you use it for
Mm-hmm.
good. And the good comes out of it is what our physique is. And you know,
Yeah.
that's how I
Yeah.
view it.
That's how I always justified it was I was using moments of trauma, weakness, whatever it may be, and like taking control of it, right? It was like it was just I always say it like I have this like little filing cabinet that's the only time I let myself open up. I don't think about it any other time of the day. But in the gym before certain top sets, dude, that's I'm going through and I'm like, oh, that one will work. And then I shove it in my face until the set's done. Yeah. How did we become a part of J3U? Alex, we get asked this in different um, versions of this all of the time.
Yeah. So we did not become coaches with J3U because we just passed the coursework. And I'll be honest, we didn't complete the coursework until after we were like, that wasn't the stipulation of why we were hired as coaches.
Yeah.
So because we get asked, like, oh, so I can just take level one, then I can be a J3U coach. No, there's six of us that covers the entire world, not
Mhm,
just US, the world.
mhm.
So no, you cannot just become a J3U coach. How I became a J3U coach was Luke Miller was my training partner back when he was in school here in Birmingham at UAB. That was about 10 years ago. So we were friends. The nutrition store I managed, he would come in and we'd hook him up on supplements, and we were friends. And then he moved to South Florida to finish his master's. I stayed here. I remember when he hired Jewett as his coach. I was like, man, it's gonna be a good fit. And then we didn't really stay much in touch. Like we would speak and like we were fans of each other, but like we weren't as close because he moved. And he moved to Texas, and I saw him at North Americans in 2023. It was the year that like my athletes didn't really do so hot. Um, and I just remember telling him like, yeah, man, I'm going back to school. Like, I'm probably not gonna be doing this much longer. And he was like really bummed out about that. And I was like, and here I'm like talking to my friend, but I also looked up to him because they'd been killing it with the coursework, and he was like a top dog, like doing workshops and seminars like all over the world. And I was like, really? Like he thinks that I should like still coach. And so he was like, yeah, like he's like, let's just talk like later this year. Like we'll talk. And I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, I was on my way out, man. I think I was gonna give it like one more year and graduate school and then just, call it a day. Like I was cool with that. Um, but yeah, then he called me when J3 coaching was starting, and I was like the last coach hired on. Um,
Mhm.
and I took that personal because I felt like everybody else was like handpicked and had their little niche role. And then the first season came, and like I had a really good season, and
Mhm.
I guess made it look good to John that Luke made the right call by bringing me in, the guy who was not the coursework guy. I'll say that.
Mhm. Yeah. Now we're here. I was brought on June of last year. So when Alex went to J3U, him and I had like conversations leading up to it, and because I was kind of in a similar spot with my coaching where I felt like I kind of hit a glass ceiling, and I didn't know how I was going to pivot around it. And Alex was like, just keep doing your thing and hang out, and we'll see, what's to come. And then last year, I had a really solid season as a coach. I had a solid season as an athlete. It turned out that John and Luke had been listening to our podcast and liked my ideals and philosophies on things, and they, reached out to me. Because at one point, I remember it was after Titans last year, so like May, you just called me out of the blue, which you don't do. And I picked up and you're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm cooking some tuna. What's up?" And you're like, John wants you. I was like, "What?" And you're like, "Yeah, John's interested in you coming on." And I was like, yes. And then we started, that was, I think, May, and then started onboarding and kind of started June, July. Um, so yeah, I think that's, and obviously we've discussed this, but I think it's where a lot of people don't understand is like I'd done some coursework. I hadn't finished level one, to be frank. At that point, I think it's a wonderful course. I think there's a lot to learn from it, but I didn't like buy the J3U level one, assuming that they were just going to reach out to me or that it was going to lead anywhere. I didn't think I was even going to, like, we had discussed it. We were like, "Hey, bro, maybe 2026 they'll reach out, whatever." Like, I had no expectation. I was just trying to stay in my lane and continue to produce as a coach. Um, but it wasn't like a situation where it was like, because I've had a few people ask, "How do I mentor under you to become a J3 coach?" I'm like, "Dude, there's six of us. Like, I wouldn't say I got lucky. I've just proven myself for a long time and they saw value in what I do. But like, I'm not Alex's assistant coach. I don't work under Alex. We both work in the same space. I mean, a lot of times, obviously, you see us as copy and paste. It shows, but like, we're both doing our own things, right? Like, that's how all the coaches operate. Like, we work in unison in a lot of cases, bouncing ideas off of each other and working with Luke. But like, it's not it's not like an MLM, and it's not like anybody's above or below anybody. Obviously, like, Luke is the owner. He's kind of the head honcho of it. But like, we all kind of work as equals within the system. But also, if it was that easy to become a J3 coach, there would be more than six of us across the world doing this, I think.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part. Yeah, but I didn't call anybody. They called, like Luke called me about Chris. Like I didn't
Mhm.
put in a word. Like, obviously I gave them a good review, but yeah, they called me about you. Um, and yeah, I'm not Chris's boss. Chris isn't my assistant coach. Chris can come and go at any time. I can come and go at any time. It won't affect me and him. Like, yeah, we're not as much as we are tied together. We are not tied together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but it's cool, man. Because like, yeah, it was a good opportunity, and um, yeah, here we are riding the wave of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think to provide more insight, right? Because Alex and I both have been coaching for a long time. I think we were both in a similar position where I was spending more of my day trying to operate a business than I was just getting to coach,
Yeah.
right? Dealing with billing and invoices and sales calls and marketing. And I had assistant coaches and with my last team that I was helping, and a mentorship program that actually taught you shit. It wasn't sales tactics, and a clothing business. Like, I was spending more of my day doing that and less of my time getting to just coach. And so that was a lot of the reason that I jumped on this opportunity, was that all of that was being taken off my plate. Shout out to all the people on the team that get to do all that for me. I love you all. and then also get to learn from the best, right? It was like now my job is I learn and coach, and that's all I care to do. I don't have to worry about like if someone hits me with a billing question. I'm like, here's the email. It's not me. I don't know. Like it's not my problem, you know?
Yeah, it protects us. Like we have like people, athletes will inquire, and while you guys sometimes it can come across that, oh, like they don't even take their own calls or whatever. It's because while there are sometimes great genuine athletes who come in and call, and we do hop on the phone with them, there's plenty of times who just shop us and wanna they take up an hour of our day and then they don't sign up. And then it's like, well, that's an hour of my day that I should have given to my current paying clients.
Yes.
So same thing with that, same thing with billing. Like people, when you don't have the infrastructure behind the scenes to run the business, like our girl in our billing department, if I didn't have her, there's a lot financially that like I may have missed. Clients will think that they can cancel and just not pay you.
Mhm.
Um, they think that they can just change cars and be, oops, I'm sorry, can we just let it slide? Like there's a lot of stuff that having them at our back helps protect us.
Yeah.
So that to me is the greatest benefit. And then Luke, like Luke knows I'll be with Luke till I die. So he's yeah,
Yeah.
he's the reason that we are successful.
100%. 100%. If you could talk to your younger self for 5 minutes, what would you say?
I would give myself like I would let myself know that I'm gonna make it. Like I'm gonna I
Yep.
posted that story of me like that it's a long time ago, it was 2018 when my two first ever athletes, I like kind of looked over their peak and prep. I'm wearing the Camp Jansen, the sushi crew shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I was like, man, like I to if I could tell that kid who's just, dude, I struggled like so much just to buy beef at that point. Like my dog Chloe at the time, like would like I couldn't afford her food sometimes, so she would just eat like my chicken trimmings and like rice and like before I could go buy her food again. If I could just tell that kid that like it was gonna be worth it, um, that's what I would do. Or if I could just show him a picture of like what I'm doing now,
Yeah.
um, that would be what I would say. 'Cause there's a lot growing up, man. In my 20s, I learned so much, did a lot of stupid stuff. But you feel like you're supposed to have it all figured out in your 20s, and I didn't. I feel like the last 2 years, I finally realized who I am and who I'm becoming. And I just wish that I could like give myself a little grace back in my 20s and even late teens. You
Yeah.
know, not every relationship is the end of the world, not it's okay to be that guy that doesn't, go to school immediately after high school.
Yeah.
Um, all that stuff, man.
Yeah. Mine, I mean, dude, mine's nearly identical, right? I was trying to see if I had I usually have my EBT card, old EBT cards on my other desk. And it's just like a reminder that I keep to myself of like being that dude, right? Like I was on fucking food stamps. I've lived out of my car. I've showered at gyms to make it through. Like, and throughout all of that, like a lot of fear. I think a majority of my like late teens through my 20s has just been like fear has been my driving force, right? I think just looking at it, like, dude, I'm still figuring everything out, but like I'm been a much better spot than I was even 2 years ago, right? Um, and I think just like telling myself the same shit of just like walking, like not even like just like biting down and like just fucking seeing it through. Because there's so many times I wanted to give up and quit because I was like, dude, I don't see this going anywhere other than down. And to your point, dude, like I probably had to like I had the mindset that I had to figure it out when I was like 16 years old, right? Like that was when I decided I was going to, try to take care of myself financially and be a grown man and this, that, and the third. And my parents were fortunately now at the time, not so fortunately, were like, okay, figure it out. It's on you, dude. Like, go figure it out. And so I think a lot of like my teens, late teens, early 20s, I didn't let myself just be a dumb kid. I was a dumb kid, but I felt like I shouldn't have been one, right? Um, and then I was like was very, very self-destructive in like my early to mid 20s. Like the last couple years, I feel like I've like gotten some of my shit straight. So I think allowing for some of that space to happen, maybe not at the same severity, because like I've made some terrible decisions. Um, but I think more than anything, just knowing like there's always going to be bad days, but the better days are a lot better than what they used to be and a lot more common.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 100%, man. Like, yeah. And it's weird that as you get older, you start to see the big picture of things. Um, uh, yeah, well, that's a whole therapy session, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What animal would you want to be reborn as?
ew, maybe like a crow or an eagle.
Okay,
Cool. Oh, a raven. That'd be cool. Be cool to fly a
that'd be
little bit.
sick.
Yeah.
Oh, I would be a. Well, let me see. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Let's see.
Oh, what would be cool? A killer whale. That'd be cool too.
Okay. I think yeah, I think that'd be a good time. I would be. What am I looking for right now? Give me 2 seconds. Um, trying to decide. I'm looking at a list of sea mammals to decide what I'd want to be. Oh, dude, I would be mm, mm, no, because if you're gonna be a killer whale, you'd eat me. I was gonna be a seal. I
Mhm.
think they live pretty chill lives.
I would
That's
Penguins are one of my favorite animals, but
don't take that shit from me, Alex. Don't
they
take that.
they die, dude.
I know they do, dude. I am obsessed. I
I,
as a ch- I've been bitten by a penguin. Don't fucking step at me with this fascination, Alex. Oh, I'd be a manatee. That's what I would be.
okay, I like
Yeah,
that.
dude, just be a sea cow. Not a lot of responsibilities, man. Just eating and chilling. Sounds pretty dope. Um, yeah, dude, I can't believe you said penguin, you son of a bitch.
Dude, I had one adopted when I was in high school. That was like a gift. I dated this little rich girl, and she like adopted one for me.
Yeah, dude. I've been bitten by one. Okay.
Why? Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, dude. Don't even, dude. I'll outdo you on a penguin situation all
If
day.
if that's what you think about on your top sets, man, that's your business. All right.
Dude, no, that was the best day of my life, I think, because I got bit by a penguin, which I thought was dope. Its name was Jello. It was at the Knoxville Zoo. I was in the second grade. And then because they were afraid that we might sue the zoo, they gave me like a lifetime supply of slush puppies and merch. And I was like, dude, this is
What?
added bonus.
How do you get so close to the penguin it can bite you? I feel like that's not supposed to be a thing.
All right, so the whole story. Again, I had a very large fascination with penguins growing up. I wanted to be a marine biologist. My parents, for my birthday, got me, it was like behind the scenes at the zoo for non-violent animals. So we got to meet a penguin. We got to go through the exhibit, whatever. Its name was Jello. Apparently, Jello is very temperamental because her usual trainer was out of town for a week. She wasn't happy about it. At the end of this whole presentation, they're like, hey, get in line. You can pet Jello. My little chubby ass gets up and runs over there. This girl gets in front of me. She starts petting Jello, but against the grain. So we're going up, not down, which I guess agitated Jello more. Her turn was up. I go to pet Jello. Jello gives me a warning bite on the finger. I thought it was dope. And
Yeah.
they panicked. They're like, hey, oh my God, are you good? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then I got a bunch of slush puppies and stuff. So it was sick.
That's
Yeah.
you can have penguins with Jello.
What motivates you the most to succeed?
Mm, probably my pride or my
Mm-hmm.
ego. Yeah. Yeah. Because like I deal with that a lot. Like I, well, I do. I don't take the time to like acknowledge my accomplishments, so like appreciate it or like bask in the glory of them. It's usually like, okay, what's next? Like, what do I have to do next? Um,
Mhm.
so that's usually, what was the question again?
What motivates you the most to succeed?
Yeah, that's what motivates me is just I'm constantly chasing something.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
when you're constantly chasing something, you're constantly not satisfied. And so like, yeah, that's why you always continue to succeed is because you're not comfortable. We look at someone like when people make it, right? You look at Conor McGregor, he's living in a yacht and whatever. He's not chasing anything. So that's why he's not as successful as when he was coming up and chasing that success. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah, while it is probably like a big flaw of mine that I'm never satisfied with anything, it's also what continues to drive me to be successful.
That makes sense. I think I think mine's like a duality. I think over time it's changed. Like I said earlier in this episode, that fear is a driving force, like fear of failure. Um, like from like I don't want to go back to being a broke kid in my car, like living out of my car.
Yeah.
I think that's like a catalyst. I think I'm getting less away from that the more success that I've obtained. As I'm kind of like stepping away from that fear, the other reality is like what I was instilled when I was young, which is if you're going to do something, don't suck at it. I hate being bad at things. I just like being good at things. I think that's a piece of it too. And I think in more recent times, it's falling more into a place of pride and ego of, um, like I can't, I'm not going to backslip, right? And I think moving away from substance abuse, in the past, like this is kind of my new drug because it's a weird, and I'm going to speak for myself and you can, chime in on your thoughts. I love show weekends because I live in the most extreme duality of ego and insecurity the whole time. Where like there's one moment where I'm like, oh, we're so fucking on and this is the shit. And then I'll intentionally try to scare myself. I'm like, yeah, what if? Right. And like when we put up our stories and shit, I'm putting it up to like put my money where my mouth is. Like that's like, all
Yeah.
right, motherfucker. Like I need to scare myself for a minute. And like it just like escalates through the week and then show weekend. And then when they're on stage and everything else, and then do the feeling when they win, and then it's gone. It's
Hmm.
just like a moment where I just, many of you have heard me in the crowd scream, fuck yes, when my people win. And then it's like I'm in the shower at the end of the night and I'm like, okay, how could that have been better? How
Yeah.
could they have looked better? I'm hyper analyzing myself. And then I'm already like, okay, so that's that when I write their plan. And then it's like, okay, now I've got a show in 3 weeks. Now I'm like gearing up to like feel that again. Like it's probably not healthy, but it's like my favorite feeling on the all of that is like my favorite. Even if I like to make myself stressed, I think is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's the day after the show, like the drive home. Usually I'm like, I'm feeling good. I'm hyped up. I'm proud of it. I'm usually tired. But then that Monday comes and it's like, all right, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that that's how everyone else feels. It's like they look at me and like, well, okay, well, he's got to do it again. He's got
Mm-hmm.
that was cool, but it's a it's weird, man. Like you create these athletes and you put them on stage that are good, like when you compete, or when Colvin competes, or when Neely's fucking 320 pounds, or when Abby turns pro. It's like, yeah, but it's so and so. Yeah, but it's Chris. Yeah, but it's Abby. Yeah, but it's Neely. Like, well, y'all, like that's not a like. Yes, they're supposed to do well, but like it's kind of like what's the word? Like scoffing off like their hard work and what got them there. Like yeah, like their win's not as impactful because oh well they're supposed to win, and it's
That,
like
that
and
I
that yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I think that's why I don't find gratification in winning any not currently in the sport in a regional sense. And when I say this, like God, I'm not trying to like discredit or anything because I'm proud. Like I've won 3 overalls in my career, but that's how it's been since the beginning. Is like, well, you're supposed to win. That's all I've ever heard. Which, like, again, I know sounds like very condescending and cocky, but like That's all that I have been taught. So if I do lesser than that, I suck. If I do that, it's like, well, yeah, but
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
do I go from there? Right. It's like, so that's where for me as a coach is like I can find so much more. And that's why I like drive home when I do. And that's why I post these transformations. It's like, yeah, like so Mary should win, but look where we started. Fuck you. Like you don't get to have a yeah but against me.
Yeah. Man, yeah, and I feel that like because now like I feel it's a more of a bigger deal if my people don't win. Like if Alex loses, that's when people are like, oh shit, that's how I feel. Whether that's the reality or not, I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
like that to me is where it's like, you know, yeah, I take athletes to shows and it's like, well, who's getting second? Which is awesome, but like I am very well aware that like I can't win every time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, at the same time, I do think I can win every time, but at some point it's like it won't happen. And that's
Yeah.
something that, yeah, I don't know what other people think, but that's what drives me is
Mm-hmm.
like when I get beat, I wonder what everybody else thinks. I'm wondering like I feel like it brings more attention than when I win. Because then when I win, everyone's like, oh yeah, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's so and so, but look at the show. But how many people were there?
Mm-hmm.
All that shit. So um
Oh, 100%. Dude, taking a double overall, right? And then like getting taking one of my athletes up to do a stupid OCB show I didn't want them to do, and then being one way spot away from an OCB card. There's 12 people in the room. I felt like everybody was staring at me.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Double overall it felt like whatever, but then I go do that, and I'm like, the whole time I'm like, oh my fuck, that was like, and that's obviously a smaller degree than even where you're at. But the longer like I'm in this, the more I recognize it. I grasp like I want to obviously I'm going to continue to elevate as a coach as far as like where I'm winning and what I'm putting on stage, but like I comprehend why a lot of people get out of this at the top.
Mhm.
Some thing about like, dude, honestly, like I think how Jansen went about things is terrible from the outside looking in, but I can see why. If your expectations, you're only turning people pro and winning pro shows, what at some point you're going to crack.
Yeah, yeah. And trust me, I've thought about it. I've thought about like, man, wouldn't it be nice, like maybe turn a couple more pro and then just get on out of here, right? Yeah, just stay
Yeah.
out at the top. And look, yeah, I'm nowhere near retiring from coaching by any means, but at some point it will have to be like I will not stay at local regional shows not winning. I have there's a few personal cards left that I still need to achieve. And then like in a few more years, if those are like achievable and they're done, and I wanted to step into something else, like I would always still like let's say perfect example, let's say the fucking Baltimore Ravens called me today, like, hey, we want you to be our nutritionist. I'm out. Like I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah.
I will keep. But obviously, I would keep like a lot of my like. I would keep a good bit of people who are like close or we're on that chase together or whatever. Um, but and so I think I can always say like there still are people like Austin, for example. Austin's very good. I'll tell him like so I will be your coach till you retire. Whether I'm coaching or not. I will be your coach.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something that, yeah. So, and again, I say that I don't have any plans of, I only want to continue to coach and get more and more clients and more wins. But let's say I'm 45 years old and also still competing, well, probably still be coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense, man. I think like I can't see myself doing anything else other than this. And but it's like at a certain point, like I see why people scale out from like a mental health perspective, but I still love it. I love what I put myself through. Like and I can't not. Because to me I think there's again, like we've talked about, there's a lot more emotional investment in this, and I take everything personal, right? Like for my athlete's sake. Like I get dog fucking pissed if we don't win.
Yeah.
not at the judging panel, at myself for why I didn't figure that one out or whatever it may be, even if it wasn't something that could change. And like it keeps me up at night, dude. I'll be like, I've had more nights in the last month being up purely out of like excitement of like thinking about what athletes are stepping on what stage this year. Like I can't let go of that.
Yeah. Man, I'm already mapping out 2027. I'm pumped.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
can't fucking wait. So, yeah, and I think as long as that's there for us, that's how the passion goes back to question one. That's how that passion continues. As long as you still, like I call it recruiting classes, right? But it's like
Mm-hmm.
as long as you have those down the pipeline, and like I'm excited. Like whether we win, lose, turn pro, don't turn pro, like whatever, I'm just excited because if we're able to map it out a year and a half in advance, well, those people have probably been with us for a while and we know they're going to be here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
so my core group, I could go fucking work at McDonald's, but I'm keeping
Yeah.
and what's fucked up is I say that and I feel like there's athletes that are in my core group that doesn't know that they're in my core group. Is like so yeah, I need to do a better job telling y'all. There's a lot of people I ain't leaving until they're done. So
Yeah.
don't
Oh
just
yeah.
don't just take me saying Austin. Like there's a lot. Like I'm talking 30 plus. Like there's
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's where I mean, dude, I've told all of them, like, dude, I'll kill for most of y'all, like, and especially the ones that have been around for so long. Like, there's a lot more. It's a lot more than a check in and a screen to me, the people I get to work with. And not everybody, I think the other thing too is not everybody has to facilitate that role, right? And that's fine. Like, we both have people who it's business to them, and it's business to us, and that's great. And like, it doesn't have to be forced, but there are just some people that you just bond yourself to, right? And that's what it needs to be. um like I said on the episode with Luke and you, like it motivates me. Even like I don't know, we haven't even talked about a show timeline. I don't care to right now, but like it's what motivates me. Like I go to the on the way to the gym, I'm getting fired up thinking about Wade being on stage or AJ being on stage or Levi or Mary or like any of these people where I'm just like, motherfucker, like that's what like drives me to go still be a bodybuilder and like remind myself to like live to a standard that I intend to lead by is
yeah.
because of them, right? Like they make me a better athlete because I'm like, no, I have to lead from the front, point blank, period. Um, so there's a lot, it like kind of all feeds in itself, right? But I would rather if you told me right now that I can never compete again, I would be at peace with it. If you told me that I couldn't coach anymore, I would lose all sense of purpose in my life.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do. I remember because remember I would joke about you guys and the guys like I think I'm gonna be done. And y'all then like y'all were like, Stop saying that." And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess you're right. I'll shut up."
I'm like, no, you're not done because I'm not done. So
Yeah,
we're not done. Um, Short cycle at a high dose or a long cycle at a low dose.
the only reason it would be a short cycle is because your health markers are bad. So then the high dose was stupid. I
Yep.
would much rather you do the low dose. But that's the thing is like, dude, I have a guy running a lot, like 1,000 mgs a test and like other androgens too. And his blood work came back good. So, and we're like 18 weeks in, 16 weeks in. So we're gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so it doesn't have to be like when we say like low dose, long duration, like it doesn't have to be 300 tests, 200 Masteron. Like,
Yeah.
as long as your lab markers are good and your training's good and your body feels good and your mind's good, you can keep going. I'm always going to go for the longer duration
Yep.
because if it's short, that means you ran into some issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you brought up a good point in that. Like, we have, I think, like a lot, especially to the untrained eye, we have perceptions of what's relatively high or relatively low um, within a protocol. Like, dude, if you show somebody a protocol and there's 800 primo in it, they're going to go 800 primo, and you're like, that's not a lot, like in the grand scheme of things, because of the risk profile of primo bowling specifically. Now, if you have a cycle and it's 800 trin hex, maybe not the best idea, in my opinion. And so we have to one look at it from the perspective of what compounds we're using specifically for the individual, but it's all in there's again, there's enough theoretical research out there and anecdotal research and just research in general where we kind of know, generally speaking, what is a moderate dose, a high dose, an extremely high dose, but it's still case by case. I've seen guys who can tolerate 1,500 tests. Fine.
Yeah.
That's not a high dose for them. It's a high dose when we start seeing negative implications being provided, and vice versa. I know guys who can't tolerate more than 300 tests. So 400's high for them,
Yeah.
right? But it's and the same with like the amount of compounds. Like if someone sees a list of compounds, they're like, oh my God, that's so many things. But then you look and it's all like the minimal required dosage. I'm like, that's realistically that could potentially be fine if we have the lab work to confirm it. And the same conversation of duration. Some people are like, oh, dude, you ran 1,000 tests for 18 weeks. It's like, okay, well, our lab work every 6 weeks says he's fine.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Like, and that's the thing, like get labs done before the cycle, get labs done about 12 to 14 weeks in, and then see where you're at. If things are pretty bad, pull it. But like if things are good, like keep going, like it's that's the hardest thing, man, to get clients to understand is like, who came up with 6 weeks of animal? Oh, I'm gonna do 12 weeks of test, or I'm gonna do 8 weeks of animal. Like, it's like, who came up with that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a thing. Like, here guys will be like, you know, when guys would like order gear, like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
just need 6 weeks of this. Like, what dose? What do it's like, there's so
Yeah.
much more questions. Like, oh, just 6 weeks. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, but yeah, man, that's something that I wish people would get out of there's no standard timeline of drugs. Like, on average, it's anywhere between 12 to 24 weeks. Sometimes it's 30. Eventually you're going to run into something. Might not even be blood work. It could just be like you're just tired of training.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and again, it goes back to the conversation of like what drugs we're talking about in conversation. Like, yeah, dude, if you ran a cycle of fucking super draw trin and EQ, you're not gonna get a lot of weeks out of that, realistically, because you're talking about like some pretty toxic drugs, especially in how they work in conjunction with one another. But if you look at like more reliable compounds, yes, the number beside the milligram is going to be higher. That does not mean that it's worse, right? Like 800 Masteron versus 800 Trin, much different,
Yeah.
right? Or like, like 600 Prima versus 600 DHB, much different. Those are different. That's where we have to look past our perceptions. And to your same point, that's why we're just so big on doing one, being proactive, but two, monitoring things effectively each week. Because if I'm having you monitor your blood pressure and we put an EQ at 400 and it holds and it's fine, and we go get your labs done, everything's good, great. We can go up if we need to or if we want to. But if I put in 400 EQ and then your blood pressure goes up 40 points, too much
Yeah.
for you. Sorry, right?
Yeah. Dude, 100%. I love that question.
Yeah, because but in the grand scheme of things, our goal is to be able to run a protocol for as long as we can, because you're again, you can only, no matter what we put in place, the amount of drugs, the variety of drugs, we have everything in a perfect position outside of it. You can only put on muscle so fast, right? So if we can have that exposure be 12 weeks longer than a different cycle setup, we're going to get more out of it because it's 12 more weeks of being in a super physiological position.
Man, yeah, and that's something that it kind of runs into the thing where, like, if you were to hear like, oh, like I put a bikini girl, she ran primo for like 14 weeks. And like if you just say that, people be like, oh my God, he ran primo for 14 weeks. But like you weren't, one, you don't know like the show we were going to do, which we turned pro at, and then two, like you don't know the dosage, which was just 24 milligrams a week. So like you may hear like, oh my gosh, they ran that for so long, but then you'll have a girl run, 20 milligrams of Anavar for 6, and it's like, well, what's worse?
Yeah.
Like, so it's a big double standard. But that's when people are like, oh my gosh, she's reckless. It's like, no, you just had to do what you had to do to win. And you assess the side effects and you assess the blood work, and if things are fine, then keep going.
Yeah. It's all you can do. And I think too, which we can do a whole nother episode on it, like getting into the administration of things of like, oh, he's having you do injections. Yeah, it's safer than an oral
Yeah,
every time, right? Like I would prefer that we do injections, but if we're not there yet, again, we have when you guys come to us and we ask you questions, you go through the onboarding process, you are writing out you're writing out a solution or an ideal goal, and we have to figure out the equation to get you there.
yeah,
It's the timeline you want to be on, what you want to look like, what you're willing to do and not do. And then obviously we have to get into a lot of semantics, but that's the general three. So we just tell you what you want to do because ultimately we are here to provide a service, which is to make people win and look fucking awesome. And if you want it to happen sooner, you're going to have to be more willing to accept risk. And also you have to like work at a level of execution that we demand of you. But that's where you guys have to like, and if I do this for everybody, I lay it out for them. And if they're not comfortable with it, I say, okay, then you need to reassess your timeline or whatever it may be. I never touch the risk profile side of things, especially with women. But I'm like, then we have to reassess your timeline. That's what I'm here for. Like, if you want to win and you want to do it this time, it's going to require this. If you don't, then we do it. Well, we wait.
yeah,
Super simple. I think you just some people get so attached to a timeline that they create. I'm like, for fucking what? Who cares? Let's just get it done when it's in due time and you're kept within like health markers that you have set are like non-negotiables. I will not negotiate on those.
yeah,
I'll negotiate on timeline.
dude, 100%.
Well, guys, we're back. So sorry about another delay. I was sick and Alex was not hanging out with me. So, for those listening on YouTube, if you can like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you are on Spotify, if you can leave us a 5-star review and subscribe as well. We just hit 32,000 streams. You guys are fucking awesome. If you can share with friends, share on Instagram, tag us. It's really dope to see. We would really appreciate it. And until next time, thank you for listening to J3U After Hours.